I exposed my roommate's dirty secret right before his proposal. Now he says I ruined his life. I ruined my best friend's perfect proposal? Or at least, that's what he thinks. Mike, 26M, and I, 24M, have been roommates for over a year, and he's been planning this epic proposal for months. We're talking rooftop venue hired photographer. The works. He even asked me to play the role of undercover photographer, pretending to take candid shots while capturing the big moment. It was supposed to be a picture-perfect scene. Then a week before the proposal, I walked in and found Mike tangled up on the couch with some girl I'd never seen before. Their hands were everywhere. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. "Dude, what the hell?" I asked, my heart pounding. Mike just shrugged, wiping lipstick off his mouth. "It's nothing, just a one-time thing," he said casually. "I'm still going to propose to Jenna." A one-time thing. This was supposed to be the guy who was going all out to propose to his soulmate. Now he's making out with some random girl like it's no big deal. Here's the thing, Jenna, 25F, isn't just Mike's girlfriend. She's been like a sister to me ever since they started dating. She even got me the job I have now, and we've spent countless nights venting to each other about life, relationships, everything. I couldn't just brush off what I saw. I told Mike to come clean. I said, "You owe it to Jenna to tell her the truth. She deserves to know who she's about to say yes to," Mike snapped. "Stay out of it," he said. "This isn't your business. You're just trying to sabotage my proposal." I tried to reason with him, but he wouldn't hear it. He was more focused on his perfect proposal than on the fact that he'd just cheated. So I made the call. When I told Jenna what happened, she went completely silent. I could hear her breathing, but she didn't say a word for what felt like forever. Finally, she just said, "Thank you for telling me. The proposal never happened," and now Mike is furious. He says I ruined his life and that I overstepped big time. Jenna hasn't spoken to Mike since the day I told her the truth. She packed up her things and moved out, crashing at her sister's place. Last I heard, she was still there. No calls. No texts. Just radio silence. I keep scrolling through our old messages, wondering if I'll ever hear from her again. Mike, on the other hand, has been unraveling. He's been blowing up my phone with angry texts and voicemails, calling me a backstabbing snake and accusing me of destroying everything over what he insists was a harmless mistake. Each message is more desperate than the last. In one voicemail, he's slurring his words, saying, "You had no right, man. You ruined my life. Jenna was my everything." I try to explain to him that cheating isn't a harmless mistake, especially when you're planning to propose. But Mike's not hearing it. In his mind, I'm the villain who ruined his perfect love story, not the guy who caught him cheating in our living room. To make things worse, our mutual friends have started taking sides. Some think I did the right thing by being honest with Jenna, that she deserved to know before committing her life to someone who was already lying to her. But others? They think I'm a complete asshole for getting involved. One of them, Matt, even pulled me aside at a party and said, "You really couldn't have just kept your mouth shut. Mike was going through a rough patch. He would have gotten his act together eventually." I just stood there feeling like I was the one on trial. Now the apartment is tense as hell. Mike barely speaks to me except to remind me how much he hates my guts. I caught him drinking alone in the living room the other night, slouched on the couch with a half-empty whiskey bottle on the coffee table. The engagement ring sat next to it, glinting in the dim light like a loaded gun. He just kept staring at it, jaw clenched, eyes red and hollow. It was like he was waiting for it to explode. Last night, everything finally came to a head. It was 2 a.m. when Mike stumbled in, slamming doors and muttering under his breath. The sound echoed through the apartment like a gunshot, and I felt my stomach knot up. I tried to ignore it, just lay there staring at the ceiling, pretending to be asleep. But then my door burst open and there he was, eyes bloodshot, fists clenched. "You ruined everything," he slurred, swaying in the doorway. "You self-righteous prick, you destroyed my life over nothing." I sat up, my pulse hammering. "I wasn't going to apologize for telling Jenna the truth," I said, forcing my voice to stay calm. She deserved to know who she was about to marry. That set him off. Mike's eyes flashed, and before I could move, he grabbed a beer bottle off the dresser and hurled it against the wall. The glass exploded, shards flying everywhere. I flinched but held my ground, every muscle tense. He looked like he was gearing up to take a swing. Instead, he crumpled, just folded in on himself, collapsing onto the floor. "I loved her, man." He choked out, his face in his hands. She was the best thing I ever had. I was going to make things right. I was going to fix it. For a second, I almost felt sorry for him. He looked so small, kneeling there in the middle of broken glass and spilled beer, shoulders heaving with sobs, but then Jenna's face flashed through my mind. The way her expression shattered when I told her what Mike had done. The way she whispered, "I thought he loved me," before hanging up the phone. So AITA for telling the truth? Or was I just a self-righteous asshole who went too far?